Cheap last-minute flights. How can I get a cheap last-minute flight? Whether you are trying to save some money or suddenly find yourself needing to tour somewhere in the near time, there are several websites and applications which can help you to find cheap last-minute flights details and book an inexpensive airfare for your trip. Do flight prices go down last minute? Travel enthusiasts look to be consistency spilled on whether booking an airplane at the last minute is generally a lot cheaper than booking in advance. The truth is that purchasing a ticket in the hours, days before the flight's departure time can potentially reward you with massive discount, but so can planning ahead and buying your flight weeks or months before. It comes down to how crowded the flight is, what day and time of the year it is flying, and when in the week the flight departs. Sometimes last-minute flight is cheaper, sometimes it is not. The main thing is to frequently compare ticket costs and to keep an eye out for any promotional campaign, off-peak term deals. Last-minute tickets can be a lot cheaper, but they are not always. Do flight prices go down last minute? There are widely held the belief that if you wish to go abroad on holiday over the Christmas break, you've to book in Jan or February to get the cheapest flights airfares. But is it correct? Airlines normally offer several cheap seats on every flight, and when these seats sell, the price rises. Airlines companies know that business tourists tend to book their seats at the final moment and are willing to pay a premium for the last-minute flights. The logic follows that the earlier your flight book, the inexpensive your seat will be. How can I find cheap last-minute flight? To get cheap last-minute flights, here are some tips and advice to follow. Flexibility is the main thing for getting cheap last-moment flights. Be flexible with departure and arrival points. Always be flexible with your returns and departure dates. Be open to trip in the mid of the week. Look out for the flash deals and sales. Set up rate alerts. Always use flight comparison websites. Be willing to travel really early or really late. Flying at unwanted time of often help you find the last-moment flights at the desirable cost. Utilize your air miles to grab your last-minute flight deals. Call the agency for the cheapest airfare. Be an airline stalker on a social platform to find the cheap last-minute flight tickets. One more method to get cheap last-minute fares is to travel on the day of the festival itself, rather touring before or after. You can also pick to trip to locations which are less famous or in their off time to get the cheapest flight tickets. These locations will also be less crowded, so can enjoy a great time without crowds. How to save money on them? When advance planning is not possible, here are some things to consider saving money on cheap last-minute flights. As you get closer to your departure time, each day matters. Booking 1 week in advance is almost forever cheaper than booking 4 days in advance, which is almost cheaper than booking 1 day in advance. If you can firm up your plans even some days earlier, it can assist you to save. If you have got frequent flyer miles at your departure, find out whether they can help ease the strain on your pocket. You can often find value form points and distance on last-minute cheap flights. If you are flying to another state, especially over an ocean, look for the gateway with the cheapest flight airfares, even if it is not the place you finally want to go. From there, you can acquire to your intended place with a separate airplane on a budget carrier, or drive or take a train. We love this technique for finding cheap flights whether they are last moment or not. You can use Google Flight to find the airport with the finest deals, or use the standard systems to search for airfare to many airports at once. If you are within driving way of one more airport, look at costs departing from there as well as your local city airport. If you will be booking a hotel room or renting a vehicle, look into what package deals are available. The complete cost of those flight packages might be better than something you would purchase individually, plus you will cover your lodging and transportation in one fell swoop. Cheapest day to book flights. If you have always thought that Tuesday was the finest day to book a cheap flight, think again. The lowest average ticket cost is normally found on Sunday for both premium and economy class, according to 2019 ARC report. Tuesday is not forever the finest day to purchase a cheap flight ticket. Though it is not possible to guarantee when tourists will find the lowest prices, the data scientists at the ARC trend to identity the finest times to book a flight. Will flight price go down? Tracking flight price is as complicated and very dangerous as a warrior fighting dragons in a darkened place, but with a useful head start into the psyche of flight ticket pricing, you can burrow into the cave of flight travel booking with a very shiny flashlight of an informed consumer.
Jennifer is a single woman with a 9-year-old daughter. She wanted to make a weekend trip, but she has small budget. Jenny started searching for very cheap flights last minute to buy airline tickets for himself and daughter. This was not easy for Jenny to find flight tickets under $100. She nearly gave up hopelessly finding airline tickets so extremely cheap, but at last finds the cheapest flights $24. Finally, Jennifer found what she's looking for. She booked 2 airline tickets only for $75. Jennifer and other happy travelers have been taking advantage of this system to save a lot of dollars by booking cheapest air tickets. And now it is your turn to get in on the savings by purchase airline tickets at Cheapest Flights 24. All what you need, give you airport distance and compare 1,200 airline with one click.